I have with me Dr. Sathyan Subbiah of IIT Madras. He is heading this extraterrestrial manufacturing department,
Research Center.
or a research center, which is looking at various ways in which you can manufacture outside Earth, basically in space or on Moon or on Mars.
That's right.
Dr. Subbiah, tell me in terms of, I've been looking at this, these posters over here. You talk about extraterrestrial manufacturing. What are you doing exactly?
So, for example, we are trying to see what there are several manufacturing processes that factories use on the Earth here to make various things. It could be this mic, it could be mouse, etc., etc. Right? So, what processes would work under the space environment? And space environment, one of the main things is microgravity, lack of gravity.
Yeah.
So, when you have lack of gravity, what are the processes that we can use to make things? Can certain things be made better, for example, or maybe certain things will get a little bit worse in terms of how we make it? So, for example, we test 3D printing. So, we have this welding process or cast metal arc welding process for which we can deposit material. So, how the metal droplets transfer under microgravity conditions, for example. The way we do that is we have a microgravity platform in our campus, which is called as a drop tower. So we have this whole setup that we have here. This whole setup will get dropped from a height of 40 meters.
Okay.
So during the free fall, we have simulated microgravity, and we have all the cameras and sensors inside.
Okay.
And we find out what happens to the process and how the weld bead gets deposited, for example. That's one process that we are testing. Another one that we are testing is called metal foams, and that's shown here. So it's so under microgravity conditions, the bubbles inside the metal foam can get better distributed. You may get a more better quality of foam, for example. So that's also being tested. So those are examples, for example, of how we are using microgravity platforms in our campus to do the testing.
How long do you think we are from actually doing these outside Earth?
See, if you look at what's happening around the world, right? So the way NASA is funding their startups, or even European Space Agency, or Japanese, or China, even, for example, they are about I would say 5 years away realizing some of this.
Ahead.
Yeah, ahead. Yeah. No, what I'm saying is in 5 years they will actually already be doing this stuff in space.
I see. Okay.
Already some of them are already tested. So fiber optics, for example, this February one company already drew fiber optics in space, for example.
Okay.
So they are, I would say in 5 years they'll start manufacturing stuff in space.
Yeah.
They are envisioning what is called as a low Earth orbit economy. So we have factories that are floating around. We send raw materials to the factory. They will make stuff and send it back here, which we can use on Earth, for example.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's the kind of development that's happening. And in India, we have started this about 3 or 4 years back. So we are sensitizing many government agencies, and they see value in that. So government of India is realizing that this although this looks very futuristic, but it has a lot of potential, and we should jump onto that right now. So those developments are happening in India as well.
So is government funding any of these things? How are they getting involved?
Okay, right now this is, I would say this is government funding, yes, but coming through the institution.
Okay.
Direct government funding will come soon. In fact, we are several agencies we are discussing, proposals have been submitted. So I believe that given the interest that the agencies are showing, government funding will come soon. There are more than that. There are also a lot of private companies that are interested. So, for example, Valon Space, they are already having their own space lab initiative, for example, which we are going to actually. This particular experiment will be done on their platform, for instance.
Okay.
So private companies are also getting interested now. So I think we are in a good sort of a stage right now where we see a lot of interest from not only government agencies but also private companies in India. So they have seen the potential.
Okay. Are you getting help from overseas, since Japan and the US already pretty far ahead in terms of this research? Is there any collaborative thing going on, or is research rather
Not yet, because some of them are still proprietary technologies which they don't want to disclose too much.
Yeah.
So direct collaboration would be a little bit difficult. But of course, we do have good relationship between India and US in terms of space collaboration. And recently, we announced that an Indian astronaut will go to ISS, for example. So that way, we have a good relationship. So hopefully, the collaborations will happen more. And then they'll also see that India has potential in this kind of futuristic technologies as well. Yeah.
So last question, IIT Madras has incubated a number of these space startups.
Correct.
Could you give us a brief overview as to how many of these are and what they are, what are the areas they are in?
Okay, so right now the space startups that incubated at IIT Madras, they're to launching. So Agnikul, for example, they will launch rockets. And Galaxy, who's also having a stall here, they're more into satellites, for example. So that's the kind of startups that we have right now. Now, I envision some startups coming in this area as well, the in-space manufacturing or extraterrestrial manufacturing. So launching vehicles, launch vehicles, satellites, different other platforms like E-plane, for example. So all startups are coming out of IIT Madras. Soon we'll see startups from here as well.
Are you aware of other Indian universities, IITs that are involved in this kind of?
I know that the bio-related stuff, there is some activity going on ISC, for example, and then there's something called an in-space city, which IIT Bombay faculty has incubated. So they want to develop some, sort of habitats in space. So you know that there's one other startup, one other activity that's going on IIT Bombay, for example. Those are things I'm aware of. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Subbiah, thank you very much.
Sure,
Good
thank
talking
you.
to you.
Thank you. Good, thanks so much.